Alright, this is Scott Teague with you, and I'm going to try to show you, I think a lot of you people out there on YouTube, when I showed my veterans unit and my Go Rail unit, they wanted to know how I put the decals on when the transition between two colors and where to apply them. Well, here's a method that I use. I'm sure there's several methods, but this is the method I use. First of all, the locomotive that you're going to be doing, get a lot of pictures, especially close-up pictures and stuff like this veterans unit here. The side views, the front views, back views, but get some close-up shots. That way you can see where the decal is, as far as how many doors that the stripes go back, little details on the locomotive that you can copy off to your model. And that way you'll know, how far to go back, like on the louver doors on the back, on the side here, and where the decal comes over, what little detail. So that helps too. So study your pictures first before you do anything. First off is whatever decals you're using. I scanned on a printer and printed out several copies. This is the Circuit City's decals, veterans unit decal. Scanned it off, and then what you'll be doing is, as you look at your photographs, as we go back to it, the transition line is in the white stripe between the blue and the black. The red line, only place up here is up here at the top, but basically your white line is your transition line. So after getting that, you come back to the copies of your decals, do several copies. That way if you mess up, you can start all over again. The decal, you want to cut the white stripe in this decal in half. And what you'll have is let's use this as reference. This is a piece of decal. I don't know if you can see it or not. Decal from a copy that I cut in half. This is on the AC44 C6M decal, but I cut it in half where the stripe is. And what I do is, after I cut it, I use blue masking tape, this painter's tape, lay it down on a piece of glass, and the decal that I cut out of the copy, I lay it down and I pencil draw the line on it. After I do that, I take the X-Acto knife, and you want to carefully cut your stripes or whatever decal you're doing on that piece of tape. After you do that, you go back to your reference pictures and you go back to your model, and wherever the stripe is, the half of the white stripe is on the veterans unit here, we'll use the veterans unit as an example, is you want to see where that white stripe is divided on the side of the model, and that's where you want to put your piece of tape. And after you cut the decals at the end of the decal sheet right here, the emblem, you'll know that the top of the decal sits right here on the top of the model. So that's a good starting point. But you want to see where that white is divided on your model and on the reference papers. And then you just put your piece of tape on there. And if either side you want to use, you do your blue first or your black first, it doesn't matter. But that's where your transition line will be, right underneath that piece of tape that you put on your decal, on your locomotive. But this is your exact place for your decal and the shape. If you just copy it off in a scanner on the printer and cut it off, and just look where your transition lines are, and then cut it right in half where that transition line is right underneath the decal. And then carefully put it on the model, and you should have it. If you know, it takes several different times. I mean, once you do one, it gets easier, but take your time. It's not that hard to do. If it's a little bit off, it doesn't matter. You can go back and, like, if the black is showing or whatever, just lift the decal off before you apply it down with Savaset or Microsaw or whatever, and take the decal up and paint it with a little paintbrush if you got, you know, some color showing that you don't want on the decal, and put the decal back over it when the paint dries. You know, it's just trial and error, but once you do one, it gets easier. But that's the way I do it. So I just use blue painter's tape, a scanner to scan the decals, and like I said, just go over your pictures real good before you do all this to see all your little details of where this stripe is on your locomotives, whatever you're doing, and that makes it easier. And you just cut where you need to and make you several copies, and that's basically how I do it. I've done it for a while now, so like I said, each time you do it, it gets easier. But if there's anything else you want to ask me, just tell me in the below comments, and I'll be happy to answer. And that's how I do it. Thank you.